just thought I'd take a short break just to let you know about becoming a Breakout Bestie. So we've launched a brand new subscription service for the small businesses that need us in your pocket. So why do you need to become a Breakout Bestie? Well, it's just a monthly subscription that gives you access to us when you need us. There's a closed group where you can ask us any question you need. There's also an anonymous posting on, so if you've got clients in the same group, you can ask us anything and we'll get back to you. Sometimes that'll be a quick answer, other times it might be that we need a bit more of an in-depth chat. There'll also be posts and information on the latest trends, the latest strategies for social media, upcoming things from HMRC that you may have missed, just anything you need to make your life easier to run your business. You'll also have access to our client base and money off discounts and vouchers for various services we've got coming out. This is brand new, it's only just been launched, so have a look, go on our website under Besties and sign up soon.
You just know.
You do.
I just thought I could have this at a price that I could, maybe manage.
Yeah.
And I looked in and then I just then started chatting to the lady that was here. And she had it for sale, so she was having to close completely or sell it completely. So in a way, she was like, oh my God, this is untrue. I've got someone coming in wanting to buy the business. I'm potentially selling this to this bloke that's come in. It's like, this is not real. This is not going to happen. When I told her I was a teacher, I think she then realised, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
This is a teacher who wants to get out. And it just then all went through. And then it was mine. And I was going to be the owner of a wool and fabric shop as it was then. Nice. And all my teacher colleagues were like, you are completely balmy and nuts.
Hi and welcome to Business Rainbows and Unicorns, where there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. This podcast is specifically for business owners or wannabe business owners. Say you've got a side hustle or you've got a passion for something and you think it'd be absolutely amazing, or you see people that do amazing things with their passions and what they enjoy doing. Well, you can do that. So please subscribe and we hope you enjoy listening to this episode. So, hi and welcome to Breakout Business Rainbows and Unicorns, where there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. So today,
very true.
We have Stuart from the Wool Patch.
All right.
Thanks for coming on.
You're very welcome. Lovely to be here.
So Stuart owns, for those that don't know, he owns the Wool Patch in Long Melford. So we're neighbours, because I think there's probably 10 houses between us, if that. But he's also got a YouTube channel. He also dyes his own
yarn.
wool.
Yeah.
What have I missed? What else do you do?
And we have social classes.
Social classes.
Yeah, so it's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
So the classic knit and natter.
Yeah. So.
And I have to say that's the bit. One of the main sort of underpins the whole shop is that social stuff.
Amazing.
I don't know whether we'd exist without them. Actually.
That's amazing.
Yeah, because the community come in 5 or 6 people every morning. We have a morning session and an afternoon session. And it actually makes the shop feel alive then, because we have good footfall here in Long Melford, don't we?
We do.
Actually.
We're lucky.
There are people going past all the time. The traffic is going past all the time.
Yeah.
It's unlike any sort of village that I know. I know we're a town, really, aren't we? Yeah. But that footfall is great, and the cars are always going by, because I think people go, I'm just going to pop to the co-op or pop to the post office, and because of the free parking, they then just nip to me. So I do have some good footfall, but there are times where you don't see any customers
when it's raining,
and like today, and then it can be you don't see anyone, so it can be quite lonely. But actually, I never then get lonely, because I've got 5 people here in the shop in the morning, knittering and nattering, and I make them tea and coffee. And then they're in the afternoon too.
Perfect.
So it's nice. And then when customers do come in and they're stuck and I can't help them, just imagine those 5 people around the table, the experience that they've got.
Love that.
So like Irene may be here on a Friday afternoon. That's her day. She lives in the village and she's been knitting for eons. She's knitted this for me. How cool is it?
I love it. I absolutely
It's really
love it.
nice.
Such a cool job.
So this is going to be... I don't normally do like a Pride window, but that's June, isn't
Yes.
it? Is it June or is it July? No,
No,
I think it's June.
June, because I'm doing a Pride window
yeah.
in June.
Oh,
so,
cool.
yes.
And I did a kind of a discreet one last year.
Yes.
And I actually had some really great comments, really lovely comments. I thought, right, okay, let's just go a little bit bigger.
Yeah, why not?
So I'm planning it already. So I said to Irene, well, we need a jumper to go in there. So I got that.
Oh,
We've got the rainbow at the top.
Yeah.
So she knitted it for me. And she's been knitting for ages, and I've obviously only been here for 6 years, so I'm still on my knitting and crochet journey, and sometimes I can't help the customers. And if Irene's here, I'll just say, "Oh yeah, hang on, Irene, can I?"
Can just borrow you.
And she'll come round to the shop, and then the customer will say, "I'm stuck with this bit," and then Irene will go, "Oh, you need to do this, and this."
Yeah, because it's like another language, isn't it? When you see the pattern.
Oh, absolutely.
And
yeah.
depending how old the patterns are,
Yeah.
you're like it's like looking at internet code. to
And you've
me.
probably
I'm
seen
like-
some really old classic patterns at your place, because I know I send a lot of the ladies up.
Yeah, they'll come down and they've got this like pattern that's obviously been folded up, unfolded, used and used and used. They're like, can you photocopy?
Oh, they need it
for me?"
enlarged, don't they?
Yes,
so
I
they
get a
can
lot
see.
of that. Can you enlarge
But
it?
some of the the abbreviations on there are as I say, another language, and and some of them because the whole sort of industry has changed over certainly the last 10, 15 years. There's almost a new languages as well, because we went from being imperial to metric. So a lot of maybe the retired folk are still on imperial. And the patterns are like that, so there could be some confusion there. But and some stuff I just haven't learned, so Irene will just help out. So, but when customers come to the shop, then they're getting more than just buying something.
Yeah, and
They're
I
getting
love that
proper
because they
experience and help.
Yeah, and it's like anything now. And we have so many people come in the shop. Oh, I want to open a shop, or I want to do this. And I said, the thing is, the shops that work well is because you get more of an experience.
Absolutely.
If it's just come in and buy something, that's when you get, oh, well, I can get it cheaper online. But online doesn't give you the customer service, doesn't give you the support, the aftercare, the conversation about what it
that
is.
chatter in between.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people don't realise. So they're almost scared of pricing, as they should be, because they're like, oh, well, I've got to compete with online. I said, but online's not competing on you. They're like, here it is.
It's a really good
They don't
point.
care about the customer.
No. I stopped looking at prices that other shops are doing and online doing, I think, after my first year, because I realised you just can't compete. And then I thought, do you know what, I'm going to go for full markup. I think people tend to think 100% is the markup, but I think, is it 2.4? What do you do? Do you work in like decimals like that?
No, so personally, we vary according, because we're a service, so we don't really have any products apart from our printing, and I just do it as the same as the library in Sudbury, so it's just so it's fair, and I'll recommend people to go there more than me anyway, because you think, well, if you're in Sudbury, you don't want to lose the library, so we do the same, but everything else is service, so it's really different.
Right.
But all the clients I work who have a product, the profit margin varies on different projects so much. But they normally work on, so I was talking to someone about dropship the other day, so it's normally averages between 20 and 25%, so they work on that percentage of what their profit margin is.
So a lot of the wool that we get, the companies will give that classic recommended retail price, so it's generally seen across the UK at that price. And that recommended retail price is usually 100% or a little bit more. But I just realised a business just can't run on that.
No.
Especially when then the internet will be going even lower than that, which frustrates me. It's like, why can't they keep to the recommended retail price? So I'll go 2.4, which most shops should do, which means you get your tax back as well, because obviously we're under that threshold. And I thought, well, do you know what, actually, yes, we're going to be a little bit more. So you might buy a ball of wool in my shop for £4, say like a ball of acrylic, nice premium acrylic. But online you can buy it for £3.50. And I think I'll quite happily chat to the customers and say, well, that 50p, you're getting so much more when you're in my shop. You might be getting the wealth of experience of Irene, for example. So if you are stuck, yes, you bought that ball of wool, but you're stuck, but you've got some free advice. Well, actually, that's all incorporated into that little bit more. So, yes, you are spending a little bit more in local, but what that then does for the shop, I think, is well worth it.
And I've stood in here before chatting, as we do.
Yeah.
And I've seen people come in and they're like, oh, I bought this the other day, but here's my pattern. So they get everything out of their bag, and it's
absolutely
so lovely. And you wouldn't get that online at all.
No.
You just, once you get stuck, where'd you go? And also,
right.
how many villages do have a wool shop as well, to be able
far
to do that?
Yeah.
And considering with the known celebrities, wool it's just massively on trend and on the increase anyway. So it's lovely that it's all that encouraged as well.
And customers can do that. It doesn't matter if you haven't even brought the yarn from the shop. We don't stand on ceremony like that.
No.
If you're stuck with your project, you just come on in and I'll help you. And if I can't help you, many ladies will do. Depends on how complicated the pattern. Remember, I only started to learn to knit when I opened the shop.
Did you?
So I didn't knit beforehand.
Did you not?
Did a little bit of crochet, but I didn't knit. I was a teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so
I was a secondary school teacher for 16 years.
So that's a jump from...
I know, it's a huge jump.
Teenagers to wool. I mean, I see why teenagers
Well, I've
to
gone
wool.
from one extreme to the other.
Yeah, I completely get a why in there somewhere.
I loved teaching, absolutely did love it. And I was in drama and art, so I was in the creative world anyway. So it's kind of similar, like now we're making chickens instead, or knitting jumpers. I was used to working with secondary school age, or what's that, 12 to 18, putting on productions. So there was an element of making there. We'd make the panto costumes when we would put on the panto at Christmas. And I'd work with the tech department and they would help me. Well, they would make the costumes. I'd tell them what to do and I'd watch. Or I might iron the fabric. But I learned so much. It got to a bit difficult times because the Conservatives were in and Michael Gove was the Education Secretary in 2015.
Yeah.
And he basically quashed a lot of creativity because he wanted to make GCSEs more robust. Mm-hmm. And that meant giving every GCSE a written exam.
Yeah.
So then that meant GCSE drama having a written exam. Like, why does GCSE drama need a written exam?
Yeah.
So you had all these students who were wonderfully practical and creative, who suddenly saw that practical element get squeezed right down to probably like 10% of the final mark, and then 40% on a written exam.
Yeah.
And for me, that just ripped out the whole love of the subject. And I just thought, I don't know whether I can carry on enjoying teaching, knowing I've got to tell these year 10 boys, because I had mostly boy groups who loved the subject and who would also excel.
Yeah.
Sorry, lads, we've got to now sit at the desk and do literally, like, we're just going to try and teach you this to go through the written exam.
Yeah. It's so different.
I could do it. Because if I tried to do it, I think they would know, oh, Sir doesn't want to do it. And if Sir doesn't want to do it, why should we do it? It would be so hard.
Because you can't fake that.
No.
You can't fake that enthusiasm.
And it took the love out of it. And I thought, I don't want to then... You've got this practical studio, this lovely studio with lights, camera, like the setup here. We've got cameras and technology everywhere. You'd have kids in the sound room and the tech room doing the lights for their mate's little performance. Yeah. And then they'd swap over. And then you just see that squeeze right down to 10%, which means it's not worth anything. Yeah. And then you've got to spend 2 or 3 weeks prepping for a written exam.
Yeah.
So I just thought, that's it. And then he culled loads of other subjects. It's right, because we're making them more robust, we actually don't need that other creative subject and that other creative subject. There was one great subject called creative expressive arts, where you could dabble in all the subjects. So you could do a little bit of music and you could do a little bit of creative writing. So those songwriters who liked singing, it was perfect.
Yeah.
Because they could write a song, write the lyrics for it and sing it.
Perfect.
But he got rid of that because he didn't want more than one creative subject or one, say, like science or one geography. So I then just thought, I've got to leave.
Yeah.
Didn't know what I was going to go to do. I thought, hand the resignation in January 2016 and I'll find somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm a great believer of that, you know, the universe
come
will...
up. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
I've got some time.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of had I thought, all right, maybe I'll have a little craft shop. Like I didn't want to go down the theatrical route. I'm no performer. I prefer, like we are now, behind camera. Even though I know that the camera's here.
But did you not want to like direct or produce?
I could have gone down that route, but it's such a cutthroat industry.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
it's a shame though as well, because I did drama at GCSE. I got a D for drama because I was trying to spell it. Because just wasn't great at it. It wasn't natural, but long story short, it just wasn't my thing. But I think, and I believe, I'm not creative at all, but what you learn in drama of tone of voice
Absolutely.
and expressing yourself to people.
Body language.
I use that more than I use algebra every day.
Yeah. The idea of working in a group to make something, it's not about the end product necessarily, is it? It's about how are you going to work together as a trio to make a performance. Who's going to do the script writing and who's going to edit it, or who's going to perhaps go, oh no, we need a different sort of link here for the story.
Yeah.
All those different skills. Oh God,
Yeah, crazy.
So I just thought, right, I'll leave. So my resignation was in. So I then thought, well, perhaps I could have a craft shop because I taught art as well. So maybe I could have like a little modern paper chase.
Yeah,
brushes,
nice, love it.
Acrylics. And
love a bit of stationery.
Yeah, we haven't got anything like that in Melford.
No, we haven't.
We could do with
I'm
that,
desperate to do it. That was on my list when I opened Breakout.
Yeah.
Was to have, and it's funny because it's the stationery show today and yesterday, and I just didn't have time to go down there. But I'm desperate to have just like some nice pens and pads and journals, just to like the more premium,
just to look at,
yeah,
no
just
one's allowed to touch them.
Ordering and buying a new diary or pad solves everything. It solves everything. But anyway.
And I think there's an art shop in Sudbury that my friend goes to, Colin. I'll tell you about him later. He's an amazing designer who lives in the village. And he said, he was really disappointed because I think the shop was struggling. It's struggling, and not many people are going in there buying something because of the blinking internet again, aren't they? But yeah, that's another question, another story for another time. So I started, one of my good friends who I've left at the school that I used to teach at, he's head of business studies. Okay. So he's a very good friend to know.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have no idea about running a business or running a shop. I just remember working in a shop as a kid and loved it.
Yeah.
Loved chatting to the customers.
Yeah.
So I thought I could do this. He says, right, okay, well, let's go on to Dalton's Weekly and just do a Google search.
Yeah.
So we Googled craft shops for sale because I didn't really have enough capital to start from scratch. Because you need a lot of money, don't you?
Yeah,
you got
do.
to buy all the shelving. You got to buy
kit it out,
God,
stock.
yes.
Yeah,
Didn't have that.
Yeah.
Thought we'd just have a look. Google craft shop for sale, and would you believe this one popped up? Long Melford. Now I'm over from Ipswich way, so I'm used to being in East Ipswich and East Suffolk. Yeah. So Felixstowe, Aldborough, Southwold. I didn't have a clue where Long Melford was.
Wow.
Or even this side of Suffolk.
Yeah.
And obviously since being here, it's opened my eyes. Suffolk is huge, isn't
it?
County. But people often forget about this side.
Yeah. Because we've only got
Sudbury.
Essex and less than a mile down the road, just round the corner, across the river.
So I thought I'll come over and have a look. And I think it was February half term. And I just drove over. I thought I'll just look and just see. I won't even tell the lady or whoever it was owning it that I'm coming. And I came over and parked outside, and already I was impressed because it's like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Free parking.
Next to a tea shop.
Yeah.
Free
and
parking.
And I walked in, and I kid you not, you just know.
You do.
I just thought, this, I want
this. It's a bit of me. Yeah.
I could have this. It was, and a price that I could, maybe manage.
Yeah.
And I looked in, and then I just then started chatting to the lady that was here. And she was a lovely lady that lived in. She doesn't live in the village anymore. She's since moved away to go to her family place. But she lived in the village, and she was wonderful. And she had it for sale. She had to look after her poorly husband, who was terminally ill. So she was having to close completely or sell it completely to look after him. So in a way, she was like, oh my God, this is untrue. I've got someone coming in wanting to buy the business.
Yeah.
I think she'd only set it up in 2014.
Yeah.
So it was really young still. Remember, we're still in 2016. Yeah. So it was only 2 years old.
Yeah.
Or 2 years young, should I say. So she'd done all the hard work. As you can see, it's all kitted out with the Kallax units. And it did have fabric in the original day, so obviously changed it since then because we've got wool on the opposite side. So she done all the hard work, and then there I was, this young man.
Obviously, I'm 21. I didn't get past 21. We are young.
This can't be right. You know, I'm potentially selling this, to this bloke that's come in. It's like, this is not real. This is not going to happen. When I told her I was a teacher, I think she then realised, yeah, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
This is a teacher who wants to get out. And it just then all went through. So that was then, I just then knew then. So it was then March, April, May, just doing the usual coming over, visiting, doing paperwork, doing all that sort of stuff. And then I think by June it was mine, and I was going to be the owner of a wool and fabric shop as it was then.
Nice.
And all my teacher colleagues were like, "You are." Most of them said I was incredibly brave.
Yeah.
Also, they said you are completely balmy and nuts. But
See what you did
all
there?
understood the
Balmy.
respect for it because they're like, "Oh my God, you've managed to get out."
Yeah.
Because there are many teachers there that say every year, I'm going to leave, and they never do.
Yeah.
And I can understand. I was lucky I was in a position where I could do that.
And I think as well, I was talking to someone the other day that I think there's always the idyllic, like I just said to Rich next door in the tea shop, I said it'd be good to have them on because of their journey, how they've ended up there. But also so many people are just like, oh, I'd love to run a cafe.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd love to run a craft
The thought
shop.
of it, yeah.
Yeah,
But-
and I think a lot of people, I said the biggest thing you take for granted when you're employed, you're paid at the end of the month.
Yeah.
No matter what.
That's right.
You can have a bit of an off week.
Yeah.
You can be.
You can have a couple of days sick.
Yeah, a couple of days
Yeah.
sick, have a holiday,
Yeah.
have this, have that.
Yeah.
But you're going to be paid at the end of the month. You have to do something pretty catastrophic to not obviously be paid. And I think you take that for granted because the number of, and I can't remember what the stat is, the number of businesses that fail in the first 5 years. And I think you need that passion, that drive, the enthusiasm, and almost like, are you a Friends fan?
I'm not actually. No.
not?
Well, I know
They
of the
talk-
programme, but I don't
They talk
watch
about in an episode about you need the fear.
Oh,
you need the fear to push you of just like doing what you need to do, and it is that because you're just like you're on your own.
Absolutely.
So if I have an off week or I have a week off sick or
Yeah.
I don't get that money,
That's true.
and it's that thing. And I think a lot of people say it depends how much they realise. It's like going back to what you were saying about why this wool's £4, but online it's £3.50. Well, yeah, it's not because they think, oh, well, you're just pocketing 50p.
I know.
Like,
And that's the
No.
thing that frustrates me. And I have to try. I was going to do it on my YouTube channel, actually. I was going to do a couple of shows where I try and explain that if you go into any independent shop, that the prices are higher because of these reasons.
yeah,
And it's not because it's higher. Well, they're mostly the price that actually is the recommended retail price. It's just that the internet is much lower because of all their ways of they've got less overheads, haven't they?
Yeah.
And they actually, I find, what frustrates me is when they lower the prices, I don't think they realise they're actually then devaluing the product as well. And it's like, you love this wool, so why don't you sell it for what it actually is?
Yeah.
And then everyone would be on the same peg, and then people wouldn't come in and go, "Oh, I've got that. I can get that for £3.50." Well, maybe you can, but actually, it should be charged for £4.
Yeah.
And then the wool industry would grow and grow and grow, and it is frustrating.
I think there's a lot of people that, like you say, they think you're balmy because they understand that risk, and
Yes,
they're obviously
yes,
quite risk
yeah.
averse.
Yeah.
But then you do get the flip side where people are brave, and it will be that admiration of, oh, he's
And
doing
I got
something he loves.
most of that. But yeah, I suppose that's the only thing is that I was in a position where I didn't have to worry so much about money for the first year because it is difficult.
That is quite a
There
thing
are
that holds
certainly at the
everyone
moment for the Anglia waterworks out there.
Yeah.
My tickets are down by half. I don't know. So I've had to go to my and I don't mind saying this because I don't cover this up or anything. I've had to go to my landlord I pay my rent 3 months in advance, which has frustrated me from the beginning, but also I love.
Yeah.
Because I know I have to quickly save up for 3 months worth, but once I've paid for the 3 months, I have 2 months where I don't have to panic at all.
Yeah.
And there is no pressure whatsoever. And then that last month I go, oh my God, I've got to pay my rent again. So I need to start saving up for 3 months worth. And then some people say, well, why don't you just pay monthly? I said, well, I could do, but then I've got that panic
Every month.
Yeah. But I can't pay the 3 months for my June rent that's coming. That's for we're in May now, aren't we? June, July, August. I can't afford the 3 months. So I've had to say to them, well, I actually said you'll get whatever I've got, and the landlord person said, well, just give us 1 month, just pay for the next sort of 3 or 4 months, just pay monthly, because it has completely, the footfall has gone because of those traffic lights, and that's all. And I've been talking quite openly about that to the ladies who are here. And they've all gone, oh my word, Stuart, oh no.
Yeah, they don't want you to.
They don't. But they understand the value of it and the importance of it. And actually, a lot of the customers do. And I don't say it because I want them to go out and buy more.
No.
I just want them to understand the reality of it. Because there are some, as you said, I'm sure some people think we just get paid.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
But they don't realise we only get paid if we sell the products.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part. I've chosen some products sometimes because I think, well, that's lovely, and it will sit on the shelf for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I've made it's a loss.
Yeah.
So you then have to put it on 50% off or whatever because I'm just going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the hardest parts of the business. But you learn from it, don't you? And hopefully, that's the exciting thing. Is right, well, I'm not going to do that mistake. I'm going to try something else. And then, or you listen to your customers and they say, well, what about this? What about this? And it's creative all the time.
Yeah.
It's always different.
And you've got to, it keeps you on your toes, because we have a lot of people that assume we're government funded. And they're like, oh, so you a charity or you government funded? I'm like, no, it's me. They're like, oh, right, it's your money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
me. And I think...
And that's important to have that conversation, isn't it?
And I've always been very, very open with people about money, because I think, and especially when I have business owners come in, I have people come in and they'll be like, right, I want to open a craft shop. I'm like, brilliant. Okay, cool. What are we doing? What are your plans? And they're like, I don't really know. And I'm like, well, have you done research? Have you seen craft shops and that? And they're like, I don't know where to start. And I can normally tell within 10 minutes, and it's normally when I'm more excited about the idea than they are. I'm like, you haven't got, you need that passion and drive and love. Because
it comes back to that person that says, oh, I'd love a tea shop, but they don't actually fully realise.
Because those days where you're like, I can't pay my rent. I can't, no one's coming through the door. I haven't seen anyone all day today, or whatever it is, or the ladies came in and they haven't bought anything.
That's right. And then you start questioning yourself.
Yeah.
Well, this stock hasn't sold. Why isn't it sold? Have I chosen the wrong colour? Is it the wrong... there are so many different things.
Yeah, and I think you have to get across to people that it's lovely having the dream, and because it's like, oh, you can work whenever you want. No, I work 24/7. I wake up at 3 a.m.
There are bonuses where you can, I can close the door at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And if I don't want to do any work in the evening, I can. Whereas teaching, you just did never stop.
Just had to
I
do
was
it.
always thinking of the class. So I've never looked back from that point of view. When I started when I came in on September the 1st, so I had my summer holidays, had all the prep, 2016, September the 1st. And then the ladies came in for the morning. It was wonderful. I was so excited.
And
I was also nervous, but I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then never looked back.
No, and that's perfect. That's when you know, isn't it?
Indeed.
That you don't go, oh, like, same with me with corporate. Never looked back. Corporate did not suit me.
I just look back and I think, so I started 10 o'clock because that's Melford. It's so civilised, isn't it? It gives me an hour so I can go to the gym in the morning.
Yeah, perfect.
And not have the gym rush like the 6 o'clock hour there. So I come here open at 10 and then the ladies come in at like a 10:05 for the morning session. My first job is to make tea at 10:30 when Popmaster goes on the radio. Although speaking, that's not Popmaster anymore, is it?
No.
On Radio 2. Are you do you have the Radio 2 on in the background?
No,
oh,
we
right.
don't.
So you won't know. No. So it would always be Popmaster 10:30. And I get to, I think it was like a couple of weeks in, or when I first started in 2016, I was like, I said, it's 10:30 and I'm just making tea. That's my first job. And by 10:30 at school, in my school days, I would have been in at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then I would have done planning and prep and all that stuff. 9 o'clock. Then I'd had registration. and then I would have had PSE, and then I had lesson 1, and then it would be break time. And I'm thinking, I would have been exhausted by then.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm just coming in and I'm just making tea. So I look back with huge respect at how hard
Yeah.
teachers do actually work.
Yeah.
And they would be doing that till 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So there is, I'll never complain
Yeah.
here about, how much hard work it is, because teaching was on another level. And then I soon forget about it and just make tea.
Yeah. Yeah, just
And then make the
boil
warm tea and
kettle
coffee,
again.
then I go back to serving a customer and chatting about the weather or whatnot, or
Yeah.
looking at a pattern and going, oh, that looks nice. Let's find some wool for it.
Yeah.
And that was 2016. So you have at least 5 years here in Melford. Most of them, I think, are 5 years.
They are.
So 16, was that 17, 18, 19, 20, 21? We got through COVID.
Yeah.
And that's thanks to you can't complain with the government there. Those grants that helped us all. It's re-signed in 2021, so another 5 years, and now we're three years into that second lease. So I've got 2 more
Amazing.
years left.
And how have you evolved the business? Because you said earlier that we always have to think on our toes
Yeah.
and how to. And when I opened, the business is so different from when
Yeah.
I opened, because similar, I was decorating. I got my keys 2 weeks before I actually moved in. I said to my landlord, said, if I can have it any earlier, just so I can decorate, so I can hit the ground running on day one, that'd be great. And had all the and I call them my retired men. So always the retired men walking the dogs, and they'd lighten up and go, "What you doing here then?" I'd be like, "I'm opening a co-working space," and it was a real 50-50 split of like, "A what?
What's that?
The others were like, oh, like one guy, he's moved out of the village now. He's like, oh, my son runs a co-working space in Walthamstow.
Oh,
he's got a wall climbing thing, and he does this and that. If you need anything, I can hook you up.
See,
you can have a
that's
chat.
Melford people, they are incredible.
Melford's amazing for that. I've grown this network of people that 9 times out of 10, if someone, or probably 9.9 times out of 10, we've become resident information rather than tourist information. They'll come in, do you know A, can you do this? And we can just help.
Valuable.
To the people, and it's probably people, some of the ladies you have come in here, which I love, they come in with their iPads. Is this all right? Can I click on it? Nope, delete it, make sure. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
And I started it by going, they do come in and ask me something. One of them, her keyboard didn't look right on her iPad. And I just went swipe and fixed it. She went,
Yeah.
oh, that's such a lifesaver. What do I owe you?
That's
and I
right. They are good like that. They do. What do I? Yeah.
Yeah, what do I owe you? I went, I tell you what, just tell 3 people today how helpful I am, because I had to have help spreading the word of
Good little thing. I'll remember.
what does she do?
Yeah.
What does she? Because there are some things like I can't charge for that. It took me all of
absolutely
2
right. Yeah.
seconds.
But they would pay though. They want
they
to pay.
so would pay.
You're right.
We get a lot of, can I just give you, and they just give you a £5 for a coffee or something, and they just do that. And I always say, yep, I'll spend it in one of the cafes here.
Indeed. I say just buy me a bit of cake. That's what
Exactly.
I normally say. Next
perfect.
door.
Yeah.
Just
But it's that evolving, like you say, on the trends, or speaking about to everyone. What questions are you getting asking? What do you do? Because it's that new and innovative thing of, and I actually copied, aka inspired by you, to change my window regularly.
Oh God, it's
because people get sign blind.
Yeah,
and especially in Melford, some people you see the same people
that's right, you do.
up and down.
Oh, at the same time.
Yeah,
as well.
exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, you can set your watch by some of the residents of Long Melford.
Yeah, the window is so important, and I use the window just. It's not really even a selling point, because a lot of my customers will say, well, why don't you put that in the window and that window? Well, I said, well, you can't really do anything with that, a ball of wool.
Yeah.
So you try and make something visual, and when you do that, you'll be amazed. You can get customers coming in going, oh, I love your window display. Or they say, oh, I'm not buying anything. I just wanted to say I love your window display.
Yeah.
And that's when you know you've done something right as well.
Yeah.
Having fun with it, and I think the village, of course, they will appreciate it, because they're walking through every day. It's what then breathes life into the village if everyone's doing that, because otherwise it's boring if no one does anything.
No, exactly. We don't all want to look the same either.
No,
It'd be boring.
Hey, don't get me wrong; it's hard work though. Yeah. I've got out. When you look at mine this time, I've just put in a lovely jumper that Irene knitted, of course. So
I
it's
feel
quite...
like we need a shrine to Irene at this point.
I think we
somewhere.
do. The amount of garment she's needed. But it's quite a small. I think it's quite a classy look because it's sometimes it's that minimalist look.
Yes, definitely.
But I really do need. So I normally do a big cool window and then something where I haven't really thought of anything. I'll just shove something in.
We've now got on our whiteboard, so we have got, so May is, because we're sponsoring Lee Stock.
Yeah.
So we've got it all about, and we've got
Oh,
Lee Stock
yes,
and the Willow
yeah,
Foundation all over it.
Yeah.
June is Pride.
Yeah.
July is, I think it's going to be summer holidays. And August is going to be the Olympics.
Which you can see.
The Olympic chickens!
So, if people are still listening, you might want to get involved with this. So we had these chickens. So this is the craze at the moment in the knitting world. It's called an emotional support chicken.
Nice.
Because you just want to squeeze it.
I need an emotional support.
So it's like this chicken that is,
Do you think Irene will make me a breakout emotional support
chicken? Absolutely. So it was sweeping the knitting world. And we made some for the display for Easter.
Yes.
And it went down like, everyone loved it. The kids were coming past and looking at it. And we had big chickens sitting on hay bales, didn't we? And everything, and little chicks too. And then I was planning for the next display. And I thought, what could I do? And I thought, then I suddenly thought, it's the Olympics coming up. Yeah. I better start planning for a proper display for the Olympics. And then it occurred to me, it's like, oh my God, we could have the chickens back again because they were so popular. And rather than doing the actual pattern for the chicken, you choose a nation.
Yeah.
And you do the nation's flag.
As a chicken.
And I've forgotten what this one is. I should have been prepared. Anyway, that's a quiz, isn't it? Right
Blue,
in if
red,
you know.
and yellow. Is that? Say remain.
Oh, it could be. I can't remember. And Jan,
it's definitely a
Jan
European
Thursday knitted this. Sorry,
Thursday.
Jan, if you're listening. Completely forgotten. And I've got loads more at home because I'm doing this Sunday. I'm doing a vlog, a YouTube on them. We've got New Zealand so far. We've got Vietnam. Penny did Vietnam for us.
Yeah.
And I just thought we could have like 20 odd chickens in the window for the Olympics.
How many have you got?
Now got 80. There are 205 nations. 205 nations entering the Olympics. And we've now got 80.
Love that.
I like they're not
You're
going to
hit
fit in the
200.
window. Well,
you
I've
could have them flying.
Oh yes, we could do, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Or perched, or maybe some branches on there. Then now the window display is going blue.
Yeah, the little hen house. The wall patch becomes the hen house.
Oh God, that would be epic, wouldn't it? So it's
you need to be in the. If you're not in the press for this,
well,
I'll be sorely disappointed.
I've sent them. You've got some press links, haven't you?
Yes.
Have you got some? Penny gave me a press link, and I've emailed them, and I've heard nothing back.
Okay, yeah.
So yes, I'd love some.
I'll send you some press links.
And I'll probably say on the YouTube this Sunday, I might say, well, can we get to 100? So we'll have a little target. But I've already blown away. Yeah. And the stories behind it. So so who's this one here that came through today? There's nothing better than receiving snail mail, is there?
I love post.
I was like,
love it when we get post.
And I didn't know.
We don't have a post box, but luckily the postman comes while we're open.
And I didn't know what I had. So I opened it up and I went, oh my God, I've got chicken. Look, right.
Flat pack chicken.
Now, can you guess which this one? Yes, flat pack. Because this has come from Hampshire. So this is someone that watches my YouTube channel, wants to support the shop, but is not local. So she's supporting the shop. Isn't it brilliant? So we said, send it flat and we'll just stuff it. Yeah. And she's also made a little flag too. But it's the story behind it. So listen to this. Dear Stuart, enclosed find my Olympic chicken in colours of Mauritius. Yeah, Mauritius. Do I say it's Mauritius?
Yeah.
As I'm an original island girl. She says, I'm not a confident knitter, so could not knit rows horizontally. I really enjoyed making the chicken. It's not perfect, but I'm happy with the end result.
It's amazing.
Absolutely.
It's not perfect.
Isn't it funny in the craft world, we are so...
Yeah.
We just worry that people are going to point out the mistakes. But
I think partly it's a British thing.
Oh, you think?
Because we don't like going, oh my God, look at my amazing chicken,
yeah.
sort of thing.
It's
like,
wrong, isn't it? You need to do your own trumpet.
Yeah, you do. But but also a lot of, because we have a lot of artists come in and they always doubt themselves.
Yeah.
The imposter syndrome is
Yeah.
just absolutely.
Yeah, you feel like saying, shh,
Yeah.
this is
It's
Ketty.
amazing.
Shut up, it is perfect.
Yeah.
And then she says, I'd like to see a photo of your window display with all the Olympic chicks in. Would visit, but I'm in Hampshire. But how lovely is that?
I love that.
So we're going to be, so that's going to be a massive display.
Yeah.
And
And you
so
said you got some from America as well.
yeah, because we've got a lot of people in America. YouTube is big in America, and
Yeah.
I don't know how it works with the British version, the American version, but knitting in America it's a bigger,
Yeah.
younger demographic
Yeah.
that knit.
Crafting's huge. America and
Absolutely.
Canada.
Oh, well, they love their
Crafting's-
patchwork.
Yeah.
We don't no longer do patchwork fabric, but look, this is some stuff that we used to do here. But the problem with patchwork was you need the space for it.
Yeah.
So it tended to be the older person that would sew, because when the kids had flown the house, they flown the nest, and that they'd turn the spare bedroom into a sewing room.
Yes.
And then you'd have the cutting table, then you'd have the ironing table, everything. And for many young people, that's just too much.
Yeah.
And if you've got to keep setting your sewing machine up on the dinner table and then having to pack it up every time, you're just like, oh, I'm not going to do that. 'cause
No,
it's so hard.
exactly.
Whereas knitting and crochet, you can do it everywhere.
Yeah, just sit there.
In the car, on the way on a trip somewhere, in the pub.
Yeah.
I
I've
don't-
seen many a Penny
Well, yes,
video
Penny and
of
Co.
knitting in the pub.
Yeah, absolutely. And that in turn helps the pub, because you're ordering drinks from the pub. Like what we got here, this knit and natter. So we have the knit and natter in the mornings and the afternoons.
And you started them from day one. Day one
So
you had.
Caroline already had them,
Oh,
but she
brilliant.
only had them Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
And so I soon saw how important that was.
Yeah.
For not only the locals, they want somewhere to go to talk.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
They don't want anything else.
No.
They could. They're not fussed where it is. They just want somewhere to go and talk.
Yeah.
Because of course you don't want them to come round your own house.
No.
You've got the pressure of then making your house look tidy, and then how do you politely get rid of
Entertaining.
people?
Yeah.
They don't want that, and they will pay.
Yeah.
They all pay,
Yeah.
and they want to pay, because there are many knit shops, and I speak to a lot of my fellow colleagues on a Facebook group who don't charge for their knit and natter. They'll just say, just put a donation in the bottom. Of course, when that happens, people won't donate, will they?
No.
Because they know they don't have to.
Well, no one brings cash in.
No, that's right. But they want to pay, because they know if the knit and natter wasn't here in this back room,
Yeah.
this technically should be shop, shouldn't
Yeah.
it? It should be products.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they know if the shop doesn't work, or if they don't pay for their seat, then this back room doesn't pay for itself, does it? And I would have to put stock in. So they pay, and they pay a very good price. They now pay, which has worked brilliantly. They pay a monthly, so it's almost like a gym subscription. And we only, and this is how we've developed. Because you said about how you've developed. Well, we've developed by increasing more of them, because I knew how important it was. Partly because the day, so on Tuesday when we didn't have a group, or certainly in the afternoon, I was like, it's the first time I felt a bit lonely.
Yeah.
Coming from a school with 2,000 kids to suddenly be on my own.
Yeah.
And the novelty soon wore off. I could have the afternoon to myself. It's like, oh, it's now really quiet. And I miss that to chat.
Well,
So
it's background noise as well.
I know,
So even if
absolutely.
they'll chat amongst themselves. So if you're
I'm
like,
over
I've
there.
got to
Indeed.
restock or do
Yeah,
anything,
yeah.
it's just nice.
And I can't sit down because there are no chairs, so I've got work. And so I increased them, but they were paying as they went, pay as you go, as it were, weekly. And I soon found out that came to problems, because if, like Mrs. Miggins, for example, wasn't here for 2 weeks, then I was losing a payment for 2 weeks. And technically she didn't need to pay because she wasn't here. But actually what I found, Mrs. Miggins felt really bad, because she was saying, oh, but I've not been there, and someone else could have had that seat, and you've missed out on money. So they would then come and say to me, but I want to pay.
Yeah.
I've missed 2 weeks. And then I would feel bad, but you weren't here.
I've missed
And
out.
they said,
on
no,
it.
you've got to take it. So I soon, first about feeling bad, I soon realised that had to change, because the back room wasn't paying for itself. So we went to a monthly subscription.
Amazing.
And it just works. So rather than what a payment rate is, it's just £28 a month.
And the thing is, it's that exclusivity of
Indeed.
just like, I've paid for my seat.
That's right.
They know they can come. This is
Indeed.
their session.
It's theirs. It's protected. And if they are poorly, or like you heard today, Sue's got a wedding next week, she hasn't got to worry. And then there's no guilt from her that she's missed a week and that I haven't got my money. And then the shop is missing out. And it's just win-win.
But have you heard of those is it a cafe or places in Amsterdam where, I don't think it is a cafe, it's kind of a bit like my place, because I was looking into it, where they don't have Wi-Fi, you just go for quiet time. And I had my first lady in, I think it was yesterday, her friend came into print and she went, so what do you do here? So I kind of explained. She went, could I come here just to read or go on my iPad? I went, yeah, if you want. She said, how much would you charge me? I went, oh, I don't know, just to sit there, because she said,
it feels a bit weird, doesn't it, actually?
She said, when I'm not at work and I just need some time out, I just need somewhere to go. And I was like, just not even considered it. And apparently these places at Amsterdam started popping up because it's Wi-Fi free, so it's either people have to, and another thing, they have to talk to each other. They're
or
not
read
sat
or
here
whatever.
on their phone and not engaging in proper conversation. And I've had a few chats recently about social media, and because obviously we're on social media, we're on every platform, and I've got too overwhelmed for it, so I've come off personally because I was finding I'd scroll through and go, Stuart's been on holiday, blah, blah. Oh, I like that. Oh, hope you had a nice holiday. So brain-wise, I'm like, I've spoken to Stuart about this holiday.
I see.
So then I wouldn't text or contact you, because in my head I've got a mental note that I've engaged with someone.
That's very true.
But I haven't engaged with you because you're not having this conversation.
That's a very good point.
So I'm trying to make more of an effort to text me up. And I met my friend in the pub on Sunday. I said, we'll just go out for one, because Sunday, so you're not going to go out.
No.
Because my social battery runs out at about 9 p.m.
Oh yeah, I'm in bed at 9:30. Even though I don't have to start.
I'm like, done. But I'm up every morning I get up at 5:30, so that's my routine. But it's that then me and my friend had a lovely catch up. We saw each other. I spoke to another human. I'm not just on my phone. And like you were saying about your ladies getting together.
That's why they love it. Yeah.
Just that chat and engagement with people.
And I say it's only 2 hours, but that 2 hours, and I've seen though every week on their set day, the same ladies. Aileen is still here. Well, there's quite a few of them. She's a Wednesday morning, and I've seen her every Wednesday morning since 2016.
It's amazing.
It's phenomenal. Yeah. I know them more. I've seen them more than my own folks.
Yeah.
And they actually then feel like family.
Yeah. And it's lovely.
And they're there. They're always there. They don't want to miss it.
No.
At all.
Well, I've been in here several times. They don't rush out. They're like, oh, right, we're off and out.
Right, yeah.
They're still sat knitting.
I'm politely going out and taking the awning in at 4 o'clock, and they're still saying,
like,
which
no,
says a lot,
comfy.
doesn't it?
Exactly.
And that's why I need to keep this room going. And I've seen the power of this. Yeah. And that's why we've changed. And I'm looking at changing the subscriptions to as a way to support the shop even more, where there could be a higher price point, but you might get 10% off every sale.
Yes.
And because I know there will be some people that want to pay more, because it's £28 a month.
Yeah.
And there are some months where you actually get 5 Wednesdays. Yeah. So technically they're sort of getting one free.
Yeah.
So it works out about £7 a week. And they get 2 teas and 2 coffees and cakes and things in between. They get the room and everything, and that chatter. Yeah. But I know some want to pay more, so I was thinking, well, I could have different membership rates that have a few sort of extras in for those who do want to pay more to support the shop. Because you will be amazed how many people want to support local.
Oh, massively.
They just don't know how to do it, and not everyone wants to buy. And I can understand it. Some of these ladies, they've only got a set budget as well, but they're not fast knitters, so they don't want actually more wool.
No.
But they still want to see the shop here.
Yeah.
So it's finding ways. What can they spend their money on if they don't want any more wool because they're not quick at knitting? What can they do? So it's a great way, because it then goes into the shop, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's important, because it's going back to that evolving, finding different ways and what you can do. Yeah. And I think the whole supporting local thing is the biggest thing is, and this is what I say to all my social media clients, everyone nowadays, you've got to treat them like they're a 6-year-old boy. They've got no attention span, and they want stuff as quickly as possible. So for social media or websites or anything online, you need it 2 clicks and you're there. It's why Amazon does so well. The minute you go on Amazon, it's telling you what you need to buy. And we've tried and tested several things of just for similar subscriptions and things that we can... we know that income's going to come in, because at the moment a lot of what we do, and because I don't hold people to contracts, and we found we lost 3 clients recently all at once, and it was a massive change, a massive dip in money for us, all for different reasons. And the main thing is it's hard for businesses at the moment, so we're kind of the first service that they'll cut. And so we've kind of evolved and tested, but exactly the same. We're like, right, okay, what value would you get from Breakout? Well, actually, some people might want a desk hire, or some people might want IT support like Andy on tap, or some people just want a bit of social media help. So we've created this Breakout Besties of just like, for exactly that. We have these people we work with on a month in, month out basis. But it's like, okay, Stuart, what do you need help with? What do you struggle with? Why struggle with this, and this? Okay, well, what's your budget? Because we have it a lot, especially with social media. People are like, I can't afford it. Before I've even told them a price. So I'm like, well, what's your budget? Okay, well, it's this. Okay, well, we could do this, this, and this. And they're like, oh, okay. Or I didn't think of that, or didn't. So it's kind of that working together to decide what do they see value in? Like you say, 10% off all wool if they're not going to buy it. To some people, that's an amazing value. Other people will be like, well, I don't want. So it's thinking outside the box, and
and that's helped
they
develop
might
the
just
shop.
get an emotional spot.
It's right. Oh, bless them. And hopefully that will, because as I say, this has not got any in the back room here. It's got no products. But I know actually that the chat and the group is still more important than the wool. And if I could have more space, I would have more groups. Not obviously, you can't have them all around the table, because more than 6, you struggle with conversations. But if you had a big enough room or a big enough shop, I'd like some comfy chairs, some settees where people who are on holiday could just come in and sit and knit for a couple of hours, but they would be over there, a bit like Waterstones. That would be lovely. But the problem with that is the bigger the shop, the bigger the rates you often get, don't you? Because over a certain size. So don't think that would ever happen unless I won the lottery.
Or you just I think we should get Tom Daly involved.
Yes.
All the celebs involved.
Oh, but I would love a posh coffee machine as well. I wouldn't do food, but have just nice tea and coffee. And the space to just have more chat groups. Because
I think that's what people need, especially coming out of COVID. I think everyone kind of went into
that's right.
And everyone's it's getting people. So I think if you can put that and go, right, it's this amount a month, this is what you get. They're like, oh, okay. I didn't realise. What I can see people, meet different people,
and they get so much out. You think some people pay for their gym subscriptions?
Never go.
And they never go.
No.
Or they do go at first, and then they forget about them.
You just know that money's coming out every month.
And I think a lot of people have got subscriptions like that on their phone, haven't they?
Like
the news subscription or whatever, and they've forgotten that they've got it on Apple News, and they're paying whatever a month.
Some people I've found that they've signed up with a credit card. You just see the total credit card bill. They never look at what they're paying for. They just so it's. And it's the age-old thing of, we have the conversation in work a lot about, we're going through a crisis at the moment, financial crisis. No one's got any money. And I'm like, but we've all got iPhones.
That's right.
It's not a necessity.
You're all paying 30, 40 quid a month, aren't you? That's right.
So it's
that will never go. Though,
no, it will never go.
It makes them then go, oh, right, yes.
How much money you've got on you. Because 9 times out of 10, if you've got an iPhone, you've got an iPad. Or a watch or something, and you're like, but that's quite a lot of money to have. We never. I mean, I'm 21, so I've always had a phone, obviously. But it goes to show there is money to be spent out there, and the ones that get it get it and will come and support local.
Oh, they will, and we get loads of tourists here.
Yeah.
So we get loads of people coming in. They've gone to Lavenham and they've heard about Lavenham Blue and what made Lavenham so rich in the 16th century. They'll come here and they'll go, oh, what's Lavenham Blue? And I've got my Lavenham Blue that I dye, and then they take that and they won't bat an eyelid.
No.
About spending 30, 40 quid on a hank of wool.
Yeah.
Because they know it's done by me and it's local and it's then going to go back in the shop again.
Yeah.
So it's getting the right sort of products, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
So
there
how
are
has it
people-
evolved? How did you get to dyeing? So you've gone from not knitting at all,
I know.
buying a wool shop, to
now
dyeing your own
knitting.
wool.
Well, it didn't last long. I think I've been here 3 or 4 months, and then the ladies were saying, "Have you heard about Lavenham? Have you heard about Lavenham?" But no, because remember, I'm from the other side of Ipswich, so I had no idea.
Yeah.
And of course,
Tell you all about Old
of course, when you're driving to Melford, you only drive to Melford, don't
Yeah.
you? And I wasn't coming through Lavenham at all. So I thought, well, I'll go to there and I'll have a look. So I went to the Guildhall, and then, wow, found out about
Lavenham.
Yeah. And then you do more reading, and then you realise that actually Lavenham and Long Melford is a wool town. Then you realise the churches were built from the money of the wool merchants of the 16th century. And then before you know it, you realise, oh my God, wool is huge here.
Yeah.
And I've got a wool shop.
Yeah.
So it just seemed to me a business opportunity. But nowhere in Lavenham was doing anything about Lavenham Blue.
Right.
The Guild obviously was, the Guildhall was, and they had some volunteers in there spinning. But there was no like charity shop, a tourist shop by the National Trust or anything. So I thought, this is a prime. With my limited business knowledge, I was like, this is surely something to go down. And then I soon realised why perhaps no one is doing it. It's because the intricacies of learning how to dye with woad, because it's an indigo, and indigo only works in a vat. We call it a vat that has no oxygen in it.
Okay.
So just think of this tub, right? This cup here, it's got water in it. You have to strip the oxygen out of that in order for woad to actually work, or indigo. Just think of that like that. And now in this modern day, I've since found out that we have a really useful tool to strip the oxygen out of that vat, and that's a chemical.
Yeah.
Because obviously science has evolved so far.
Yeah.
But in the 16th century, they didn't have a chemical.
No.
So what did they have to strip the oxygen out of it? What did they use? Come on, putting you on the spot now. Have a guess.
I see. My brain just goes to people sucking the air out.
Well, it's just you're kind of close with people. They use wee.
Really?
Yeah, because wee is ammonia, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it would ferment away. So they would put urine, and apparently they would put young boys' urine is the best.
Oh, okay.
So probably, I don't know why, maybe it was strong.
They've tested a lot.
Yeah, they would put, so in that vat, that water, they would put the urine, and the urine would then strip away the oxygen. So now in that vat, there'd be woad, indigo, and no oxygen. So what that means is when you dip, well, let's dip this. So here's my hank of wool. Well, let's dip this because this is a natural colour. So this is how it comes. There's indigo in there floating about the water going, woohoo, woohoo.
Yeah.
All right, imagine
Living
these
its
little
best
indigo
life.
particles.
Yep.
And you dip it in, and they're now going, woohoo, something to hold on to. And the indigo, the woad, would then grab hold of whatever it is. Okay. So in Lavenham day, it was the fleece. Yeah. This is actually spun already, but just imagine the fleece off the sheep. Yeah. That would go into the vat. Yeah. And then the woad would be grabbing hold of it, going, yay, yay. Now, the weird and magical thing is, in that vat is yellow. There's not a blue speck in sight.
Yeah.
You pull out the hanks, so I then pull this out, and this is where the science is amazing. It then connects with the air, which is oxygen, and the woad is grabbing on. So just imagine, I'm a woad particle. Yeah. This is no good if you're listening, is it?
It's not.
So I'm
we'll
grabbing,
make a good video out of this.
I'm grabbing hold of, I'm a woad particle, grabbing hold of that, going, woohoo! But I instantly then grab hold of an oxygen particle in the air. Woohoo! And that's how I turn blue. Because I'm grabbing onto an oxygen and I oxidise. And it goes from coming out yellow and then magically turning blue before your eyes. And I've been doing that for the last 4 years, and it never ceases to amaze me. The magic of pulling that out and watch it turn from white to blue.
Love that.
like that. And this is variegated, so there are bits of white still,
Yeah.
and it's like tie-dye. And the reason why there are bits of white still is because I actually dipped this twisted in. So the woad,
Okay,
obviously,
so
the blue
got on
bits
the
is the woad
outside,
grabbing
yeah,
on,
yeah.
but the white bits, no woad could grab hold of it because it
'cause
was
in the
twisted
middle.
like classic tie-dye.
Ah.
So it's quite an intricate
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
to do. So that's why there aren't many people dying with woad or naturally
Yeah.
dying with indigo. So I'm like, well, this is a real skill that I've learned.
Yeah.
And I've just been doing it. And I need to do that more from a business point of view.
Yeah.
That you can see it. You looked as you came in; it's
Yeah.
empty
Yeah.
because it's only me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to die. But when do you die? I'm in a
exactly.
shop all day.
Yeah.
And it's even more frustrating when you haven't got a customer. And like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything.
yeah, I could
You're
be
not using
dying.
your time.
Yeah.
So now I've closed the shop on a Monday and a Tuesday.
To die.
And I'm open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'm at home Monday and Tuesday dyeing.
Yeah.
But I have to dye outside because it's smelly.
Yeah.
But don't forget, we're not using wee anymore.
I was going to say,
But that
yeah.
goes to show how smelly it would have been.
Yeah,
We're not
can you
using wee,
imagine?
and it still smells.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth, in the Tudor times, the 16th century, she said, no one is to die with woad within a 5-mile radius of any of my residencies because it stunk so much.
So bad. Wow.
Just imagine driving through. Well, you wouldn't have driven through. You would have gone through your
Yeah.
horse.
On your
and
horse
car.
and yeah.
But just imagine the smell.
Yeah.
But that whole idea of Lavenham was where that term cottage industry comes from. All of those people in their cottages would have had different jobs.
Yep.
So you would have had the wool merchant. The wool merchant lived, which did you know, in the Crooked House. The boys.
Oh,
Got
really?
the orange Crooked
Yeah,
House.
yeah.
That's the wool merchant's
I
house.
love what they do
I
at
know.
that house.
So he lived
Amazing.
there, and he would have sourced the wool, and he would have then instructed all different houses to do different parts. So let's go back to Mrs. Miggins again. So she might have been the cleaner, as in cleaning the fleece. Then another person would have been dyeing. Another person would have been then spinning. Another person would have then been weaving. All in Lavenham, and they made the broadcloth. So they made proper fabric, which would have then been sent out around the world. And that's where the money came from. And because blue, I've told you that process, because it was such a clever way and an intricate way of dyeing. It's not like onion skins that you just chuck in a pot, and sort of get your colour. It was kind of so exclusive that's why it costs so much. And also, you need a heck of a lot of indigo to dye.
Yeah.
You need loads and loads and loads of it.
Yeah.
So that's why the broadcloth costs so much, and that's why the wool merchant was rubbing his hands.
Yeah.
It's why the churches are so big.
Yeah.
You look at St. Peter's and Paul in Lavenham and our Holy Trinity,
Yeah. Huge.
huge, because the wool merchant had the money to build the church.
Wow.
And the higher the tower, the closer to God they thought they were.
Yeah.
So
of
that's
course,
why our
that's what
churches are huge, magnificent. And people come to Lavenham and Melford for that story
Yeah. So do you
and to see those crooked houses.
Yeah,
phenomenal houses.
exactly. I remember I grew up. One of my first jobs was in I can't remember what it's called now. Tatum's Tea Room, I think.
Oh
it's
yes,
called.
yeah.
So from 14, I worked there. We used to love the Americans coming over.
Oh, yes,
Because
yeah.
A, tips.
Yeah,
And B, they'd just be like,
I know.
I can't believe you. And
I don't see as many anymore.
no,
now,
and
sadly,
it's
but I
so
get the odd
sad
one or
because
two.
because they were just like, the big going, oh, do you have the bathroom? Yep, you go upstairs, watch your head. 'cause it's just, everything was just creaking and everything else. And they'd just be amazed.
It's like a
at the
movie
place.
set, Lavenham,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Massive.
I mean, it's a sad story because basically the Industrial Revolution happened, and the machines started going to Coventry and Leeds and West Yorkshire, and whether Lavenham just decided to go, we're doing it our way. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
But they just didn't see it coming, and of course machines just took over, and they were weaving machines way quicker than the handcraft of Lavenham. And that's such a sad thing, isn't it? Because it's basically machines that just stopped Lavenham completely. And I think indigo was coming in cheaper.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so well preserved, because it literally was almost shut overnight. And then never got developed. But from a point of view here, from a business point of view, it's brilliant. But I just need to do more.
Do more dyeing.
I know. It's just not enough time to
Stick
do
the
it
place
all.
out more.
But it's lovely. It's been lovely developing that side.
Yeah. And do you now sell it still around the world? Do people buy it?
Yeah, the Americans. Yeah, on my YouTube, because I do it on my YouTube channel. So they've already pre-ordered this year's collection. So every year, are we all right for time? Because we're chatting away.
Fine.
As
long as you're all right.
Every year, I source a local fleece. So most yarn is what we call commercial. If you're a dyer, you buy commercial blanks.
Right.
And you then dye it. And that's what most we call them independent indie dyers will do.
When you say it, what do you mean by blanks?
A blank, so it's like this.
Yeah.
It's from the sheep.
Yeah.
It's been spun in a factory somewhere.
Yeah.
And then it's sold to indie dyers who will buy a pack of 20.
Yeah.
And they'll probably buy 3 packs.
Yeah.
Or 50 packs according to how popular the dyer is, and they will dye it.
Yeah.
And you can buy every type of fibre possible. You could buy cotton, you could buy cotton and silk, you could buy merino and silk, you could buy banana. You could so much in the world now with with this idea of sustainability, bamboo, all sorts. But the problem with that is it's lovely, but there's no story to it.
No.
Because it's all been spun in Peru.
Yeah.
And it's all been sourced probably from Peru or from Nepal or from Australia, wherever the sheep are.
Yeah.
And you don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
It's just a commercial blank yarn.
Yeah.
And I thought, you've got this lovely story about lavender and me hand dyeing, that's just a black. That's a merino. It's beautiful, but I have no idea where that sheep has come from.
No.
And then you start questioning about, I want to support farmers because you hear all these stories about them burning and burying their fleeces because it's not worth anything. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to find local farmers and I'm just going to go and buy the fleece.
Yeah.
So every year I do that. And this year I went to a lovely lady in Hadley who's got 60 Ryland sheep. And I took some of her sheep and we've sent it off to be spun in Yorkshire. So there's a tiny air mile there. What's that? Probably 200 miles there, 200 miles back.
But on the grand scheme of things, it's...
Oh God! Compared to that, which has probably come from Peru, but it's probably shipped from Merino in Australia and then come to us. Yeah. It's nothing, is it? And then I've dyed it in my back garden.
Yeah.
And then it's for sale.
Yeah.
But and you know where it's come from. It's a sheep in Hadley. The farmer's got their money because I've paid the farmer for the sheep and the fleece. The wool mill's got his money because he's spun it here, not in Peru.
Yeah.
And then it's back to me and I've dyed it. And then hopefully I get the money from the product.
Yeah.
Now, yes, that does mean the product is a lot more high end.
Yeah.
But as we've said, people they not only want to support local, they want that story.
Yeah.
So I know if I buy this, that is not going to be on sale anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be available anywhere.
No.
There are only 80 hanks of it or 60 hanks or whatever. It changes every year. I think this year we'll have about 60 hanks. And once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
So that's where it's really special. So that's what we're doing this year. So
that's amazing.
And then I obviously mix it with that because obviously I can't do everything that unique.
Yeah.
So you do have to have the commercial side where it's a little bit cheaper as well.
Yeah.
And you get different price points, don't you? Because not everyone, and let's remember this, not everyone likes this because this is proper woolly.
Yeah.
I know people will go, oh, that's itchy.
Yeah,
oh, it's scratchy.
But that's how you know. It's like, that's what you grew up in.
Absolutely. So that's proper wool. So I will have like that one, the merino, where it's
soft,
just beautiful, soft.
Yeah.
And then customers will come in, the tourists will come in, and they've already started talking about what's this year's collection because I started in 2020 having a yearly collection.
Yeah.
And they've already said, right, it's this year's. And the YouTube people have already said, right, you've got to let us pre-order. So they want to give the money now, which is great because that helps,
That's the whole process.
Indeed. because there's a lot of money up front. You know, I've had to pay for the mill
Yeah.
to be spun, so I've obviously outlaid. Is that what you want? You outlaid a lot of money already. So the pre-order actually really helps.
Yeah.
And then you know actually, oh right, 50 people want the wool.
Yeah.
So before it's even gone on the shelf.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
If you've got that, it goes back to the classic supply and demand, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
You know you've got that demand there. Would anything else, could she have done anything else with the fleeces?
No, she would have buried them.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Well, there you go then.
because this is where the issues are with the wool marketing board. So there is a central wool marketing board where farmers could send their fleece to the wool marketing board. The wool marketing board, I think they're just called the wool board now. I think they keep changing the names, or British Wool. They would then sell it to people who are making carpets. They would sell it to mills to spin their own. The trouble is, the wool marketing board pay like £20, 20 pence a fleece.
Yeah.
So if I've got 60 fleece and I'm going to, so what's, I should have done my maths. 60 fleece at 20p a fleece.
Yeah.
It's going to not be very much, is it?
Yeah.
It will actually cost the farmer more to ship it to the wool marketing board.
Yeah.
So the farmer's lost money already.
Yeah.
So he's not going to send it to the wool marketing board. So he's burning it or burying it.
Wow.
Or giving it to people to do stuff themselves. There might be a local spinner who will, I'll have 2 fleece. Or, you know, the local bob down at the, your allotment. Oh, I'll have a couple of fleece. I'll put it round because the fleece stops the slugs, you see. But remember, the farmers had to pay the shearer to shear the fleece. The sheep have to be sheared still for health. So the farmers lost money already.
Yeah.
Whereas I've paid the farmer a proper going price. Proper going price for a fleece is 20. If it's a really good sheep, you might pay £30 for a fleece, for one fleece.
Yeah.
Depends on the quality. Obviously, merino is super soft, so you pay probably 30 quid a fleece. A lot of British wool is woolly wool and not high end. So I paid £15 to £20 for a fleece.
Yeah.
Or sometimes a tenner a fleece. The farmer's, that's tenner a fleece.
Yeah,
So if I'm buying
20p.
60 fleece,
Yeah.
you can see that the farmer is going, great, I've got
Yeah,
money.
why not?
I've actually covered now my shearing cost. And yes, that means the price of the hank is more money than, you know, buying a ball of wool for £5.
Yeah.
But the customer knows that.
Well, it's that journey, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's the journey of the product, and you don't get that on. Some people are on Amazon, so it's wrong to just put Amazon down for everything. But some things you'll buy, and it goes back to that whole buy cheap, buy twice.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know the story. You don't know the sustainability behind it. And there is this massive uprising
Indeed, that's right.
of people that they want to know. Okay, I'm wearing this hoodie. Well, actually, where is this hoodie? What's the supply chain of it?
right.
And obviously, we know so many clothing manufacturers and retailers are now getting
what their practices are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I remember my background was in purchasing, so I every now and then a lot of what we bought was I bought a lot of crockery, which is obviously made in Stoke.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of that, but there was other things obviously coming in. Yes, I could have bought really, really cheap china from China.
Yeah.
But then you speak to the agents and then you speak to the people in China and they're like, I'm like, how do I know? And they're like, well, you audit the factories. And then you speak to the auditors and they're like, well, some of them have got whole false walls in. And I'm like, what do you mean a whole false wall? Well, they're putting holes. So the auditors go in and you see a little room like this, lovely. But actually, behind that curtain is kids and people working for pennies an hour. And I'm like, but surely it knows it. No, it's a professional outfit. And I was like, wow, you just... I hands up at the time. I was so naive.
Absolutely,
to realising, and that's what the thing. When people do struggle for money, they'll cut out like, well, I'll just get it online or I'll get it, and I'll say, which is fine. It's like the food industry.
Yeah.
You need to do it. You need to do it to survive. That's fine, but it's going back to that experience. They come in the shop for the experience. They buy the product for so they know. And especially like with some of the customers you have, they'll share that. They'll be like, "Oh,
indeed.
Did you know?"
Yeah.
Especially in America, they'll be like, "Oh,
get pictures
my
of
word,
it," and they'll
you...
post a picture of their finished jumper, and they'll say, "This is from the UK, and it's done by Stuart," and and that's
I
right.
love that.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And it's you then behind it. Is you and it's
Yes, yeah. It's very
the
much. I've
whole-
learned that the person behind, obviously the shop's there as well,
Yeah.
but they like to support then the person behind that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Lavin and Blue is in New Zealand. I've sold some to New
love
Zealand,
that.
a lot in Australia and America,
Amazing.
and at hot places as well. Would you believe? A couple of people in California
oh, we
on
said earlier
that side.
Wall can cool you down. It's meant to cool you down,
Absolutely.
isn't it? So
I
it's
thought I'd be
fine.
hot in this, but actually, you know what? I'm not,
you're
because
right.
it helps regulate the body. Well, like what does the sheep? It's got
Yeah.
to help regulate them too.
Exactly.
So it is wonderful, and that when I think back to the shop when I first started and how it's grown, and I'm very proud to see it's still here and working. Obviously, I'm not a millionaire, but it's not about that, because I
that's
didn't
not
do
why you
it.
do
Left
it.
for
Yeah.
a different reason, and it's very proud to see how it's developed, still here, and then seeing the yarn that I've learned. I've had to learn all that. I was, and I didn't know to knit, and I've knitted a jumper, and I didn't know how to knit. Look
That's
at that.
amazing.
It's huge, isn't it? My long arms.
that. Your long
Oh
arms.
God, it was forever knitting.
See,
those
that's the
arms.
thing. You've got to knit your own jumpers, because otherwise everything's going to come up
I
really
was right.
short, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So I've learned a lot.
How many
And-
people can say nowadays, I make my own clothes?
and I've learned that from the ladies as well. If I get stuck, I'll just say to them, well, what's this and what's this? So experiences being shared, passed on, because some of these skills that some of these retired ladies say, well, it doesn't even matter retired. The people who have been knitting whatever age, they've got so many skills, and they will be lost.
Yeah, they will.
But they are getting passed down, and the younger generation is knitting. And the beauty of it, the younger generation have got the disposable income.
Yeah,
So I'm seeing now 30-somethings coming in, and they are buying 5 hanks of Lavin and Blue that's £30 each,
Wow.
and not bat an eyelid.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It's phenomenal. Yeah. And they'll go and they'll knit something amazing from it. So you'll have this really unique garment, like a couture element being made, and then that going back into the economy. And remember, that money from the Lavin and Blue is going back in, because that means
Going
then
to Hadley,
there'll be a
going
collection
to-
next year.
Yeah.
And then I'm spending it locally, so I get Indigo Ross to do the printing. So they're making the tickets that go on it and the postcards. So the money's going back in, isn't it?
It's all
just,
local.
It's win-win, isn't it?
Yeah. And have you seen, I was going to say uprising, that's so not the word I was looking for, but more of a trend with like Tom Daly.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it even pops
Yeah,
up
yeah.
on my feeds about, because you mentioned like couture stuff.
Yep.
It's all popping up of just...
Yeah, so I always watch the fashion houses. So in January and February, and then sort of September, October, the big fashion houses like Dolce & Gabbana, Dior, they'll do their runways, and I always keep an eye out to see if there's any knitwear or crochet. Crochet's been popping up a lot.
Yeah.
Tom Daly knitting with that whole mindfulness thing,
Yes.
and the stars wearing knitwear and couture. So we just saw just before Christmas, Shawn Mendes
Yes.
wearing this wonderful crochet garment with flowers on. And I said to Colin, he's this amazing knitter who lives in the village, retired gentleman, who used to be a fashion designer. He did the costumes, would you believe, for Soft Cell, Tainted Love, on top of the pops.
Amazing.
That's how we started out, I know.
That's kudos, isn't it?
So he knows an awful lot.
Yeah.
And I saw Shawn wearing this garment, and I said, oh my God, it's cool crochet. Because crochet can sometimes have a bad name with granny squares.
Yes.
And it can look old and frumpy.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you know this. If you watch TV programs or films, they will often associate old people or the frumpy young girl who, like, can you remember Plain Jane Superbrain from Neighbours?
Yeah.
They would have put Plain Jane probably in crochet.
Yeah.
They stereotype, and they use crochet to stereotype. So it often gets a bad name for that. And we're trying to tell directors, don't keep putting these characters in crochet. Put them in something else. So to see him in this cool crochet, and I said to Colin, can you copy it? And he went, of course not, I can.
Obviously.
And he has finished it, and I'm showing it on my YouTube this Sunday. It's amazing.
Exciting.
you wouldn't know it wasn't what Shawn Mendes was wearing. And he's hand done it.
That's amazing.
And it's phenomenal. So we do keep up with the trends. We're looking at what's going on, and we're seeing the young people embracing it. And then the technology, the companies are making needles look more popular. They're making them color coded.
Yeah.
They're making them out of phenomenal materials, wood, carbon. So they're really up to date now. Rather than, it's not just those old fashioned, which knitting used to be. It just used to be seen as those grey needles.
Yeah.
That's right. Which we've
So I
all
remember
got.
my mum's knitted bag full of grey needles.
Yeah.
Grey with red bits. Remember the red
the
bits?
top. Whereas now the industry has realised it's the audience is much bigger.
Yeah, massively.
And making it more contemporary and cool. Yeah. So it will continue for sure.
And how is your YouTube channel? Because that's the other
really well.
Revolve.
Yeah.
Knitting on YouTube.
Love it. Well, we're trying to make knitting and crochet cool.
Yeah.
So when I show off a garment, I'll have my video camera and I'll do all the cool slow motion shots, which you often associate with tech, don't you?
Yeah.
You watch a tech channel and they'll do a review of these mics, for example, and they'll have some B-roll, of some, cool slow mo. And I'm like, I want that in the knitting world. We're not old and frumpy at all.
No.
So I'll have me, because it will be me, and there I am trying to film myself at home for this B-roll, and I'll get the camera and I'll be doing these cool sort of slow-mo shots.
Love that.
And I'll edit it and I'll tart it up a bit. And I'll introduce it on my video. So this Sunday, I'll be saying, right, here's this new garment that we've made from Shawn Mendes, our own take on it. Take a look at this. And I'll cut to this B-roll. Well, I kid you not, last weekend was glorious weather, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So I went out into a field in the middle of nowhere.
Sunny weekend. I think I saw it on your stories.
Yeah. So I went, because it's the beauty of Suffolk. We've got fields everywhere, and I thought I want to go somewhere where I could just make a tit out of myself on my own. But because the crochet was red with these lovely flowers, I thought, I've got this idea of being in the middle of a rapeseed field.
Yeah.
Because it's now out, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Get the
yellow.
yellow.
So I just found a random field in the middle of nowhere.
Love that.
So the farmer couldn't even see me either. And I just set up my camera. I did loads of shots of me doing it, and I've edited it all together. And then I'll talk about it on my live. And then I'll cut to this little reel where I'll show them it, and they'll get to see me prancing around in the field. But it looks cool. It's got music over the top. It's got modern music. And it's just reminding, it's what you would see on telly.
Yeah.
It's like you'd see on Britain's Got Talent or on, Homes Under the Hammer or whatnot. And it's just reminding people that knitting can be cool. Yeah. And then I'll talk to them, the people who are watching live will be chatting away, and I can get their comments on the screen. And I see the same people coming back every month. So I do a live show every month.
Nice.
Once a month. There's not a set day, but it's not usually once sort of mid-month.
Yeah.
And there are quite a lot of people that watch on catch up, but we get normally about 40 odd that watch live. Right. Which actually, you think about it, presenting like there's two of you here now, but if we were doing live with 40 people, it's quite amazing. A lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, like teaching class size. And they come on and they chatter away. I talk to the camera, so I'm talking to people who are watching, and then every now and again I'll come to the comments and chat to the comments.
Yeah.
So it's still a show, and it's an hour show. And it's more of a produced show though. Yeah. So I'll have segments planned.
Yeah.
And then we always have this fun guess the year at hour. So I start at 8:00. So at hour, I'll show them a pattern or a picture or something. And I say, right, come on, you've got a minute to guess the year. And then they'll be typing in, 86 or 84. So we have a little fun break. That. And then after that, it's like 15-minute segments. Yeah. But people come knowing they're getting an hour show. Because I know sometimes with YouTube, people can talk and talk and talk. And some of these knitting, they call them podcasts, they can go on for about 2 or 3 hours. Oh, wow. But they are hugely popular because it's the new form of radio almost.
Yeah, it is.
Because you can find the content that you want. And that's the wonders of YouTube.
Yeah.
What can you get on normal TV? Sometimes nothing.
Yeah.
But it's like the olden days where I can remember my granddad putting the radio on and he'd have it on all day and it would be Radio Suffolk.
Yeah.
or Radio Norfolk or whatever, because it feels like there's someone in your house. It's company.
Yeah.
Well, what a lot of people are doing now is they go to YouTube and they put on whatever their niche is.
Yeah.
So for me, it's knitting.
Yeah, exactly.
And there are people who just record to the camera for 2 hours saying, this is what I've knitted this month. Oh, this is the yarn I bought from this shop.
Yeah.
And it's a whole community there. But I can't sit and watch for about 2.5 hours.
No.
I think if you were knitting,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah,
there's nothing on
it's
telly,
something
you
else
could.
yeah.
So I thought, right, I'll just have an hour show.
Yeah.
And in that hour, jam pack it. So it's kind of like This Morning wrapped into an hour
Love that.
with different segments.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk about the new stuff in the shop.
Yeah.
So there is kind of a selling aspect there. But then I might talk about new products that have come in. Then I might talk about what's the gossip in the knitting world.
Yeah.
Then I might talk about my chickens for the shop window. And that's how we've got 80 odd because the whole of YouTube has watched. And then I'll chat to the people in the comments, say, what are you knitting? And then it'll come back to another segment. Then we have these charts where we look at what's hot in the knitting and crochet world. Amazing. So it's a lovely little show.
Yeah.
And it's a great little audience for those people who want more of their niche.
Yeah.
And that's to say, that's the wonders of YouTube.
Yeah.
Because you could find anything there. If you want to learn to knit, you just tap in Learn to Knit.
Yeah.
And someone will have made a video on it.
Yeah. 100%.
If you just want to watch someone talk about their stash, you can find that.
Yeah.
So, and ultimately, it's a business tool as well.
Yeah.
Because I can get ad money from that, and I tell my customers that, and actually I've now set up on YouTube. You can have this join facility, can't you? So you can subscribe and you can join. And I thought, you know what, I'll try it and see. And I've sold it to as right. Many of you can't come to my shop because you're in California.
Yeah.
But I know you want to support the shop.
Yeah.
So why don't you join the channel for $4.99 a month? $4.99. That's like buying one ball of wool a month, and that's how I advertise it.
Yeah.
And I've now got 15 members.
That's amazing.
And it's, I know people might go, it's only 15, but actually 15 $4.99s.
Yeah.
And I know Google will take their cut anyway.
Yeah.
So I might be getting $3.99, but what's that? 30 quid a month.
Yeah.
That's paid the telephone bill.
Yeah.
Or that's paid for 20 bin bags for Suffolk County Council, Baber, to pick them up, because we have to pay for our bin bags, don't
exactly.
we?
Yeah.
Rather than taking it home.
Literally just helps the shop.
Absolutely. And people have loved it. They're like, do you know what? I am on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
I can't really place a shopping order because it will cost too much in tax and customs and shipping. But you know what? It's digital. I don't mind $4.99 coming out of my account because it literally is one ball of wool.
Yeah.
And some people have said, actually, Stuart, I would, because I like your shop and I like watching you once a month, I would actually pay more. So I might now start looking at, because you can have different tiers.
Yeah, you can, and produce more content.
So I was thinking of maybe doing $9.99 a month.
Yeah.
And they might get a private stream where just for members only. So the normal show is generic, but then we could just do a show just for them. So they feel like actually I'm getting an extra show just for me.
And you could just talk whatever the theme is, or like you say, you've gone through the trends and go, well, if you do join on our next video, we are going in depth in this trend or in depth in this pattern, or whatever it might be.
If you love that craft, you're going to love an extra hour of it, aren't
exactly.
you? And it's almost like those shows like The Apprentice, isn't it? We love watching. I don't watch it anymore, but I used to, and I used to love watching the after show more than the actual show because you got to see the contestants, and they would ask different questions and
relaxed.
a few behind the scenes. Yeah. That's how I see it as. That show is the bonus. And it's that little bit more, isn't it? Well, it's like Bake Off. That's why they call it the little extra big slice or something. You feel like you're getting extra. Actually.
Yeah, exactly.
But it all helps the shop. So I'm pushing YouTube more and more. But it's just and the ad money you get helps.
It's just a passive income, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's just,
absolutely.
you're going to do it anyway. You want to talk
Yeah.
to people anyway, so it's just it's a bonus.
You can understand when I finished teaching, one of the first things, I didn't really know YouTube when I was teaching. It was a good teaching resource, but I didn't realise how big it was until I did a PSE session where we were talking about with the kids, and it's all the kids do. They get home from school, they just watch YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Because I didn't realise at the time you could find what you want, what you're interested in. You can find it. You can't find that on normal telly.
No, exactly.
And then I then realised that when I came here, because you can find anything on knitting, and any type, whatever you're interested in. So
you can go really niche down as well.
Absolutely,
Completely niche down to
and people, and the world is huge, isn't it? And you will find your audience. And I found my audience with that, and people want to then invest in that, and they'll write lovely comments. I'll say, "Oh, can't wait to your next show," and you just think, and you're helping the shop as well. But for doing what to me is very little, I'm enjoying that. It doesn't feel like work.
You kind of do it anyway.
But you can understand why the kids were saying, "I want to be a YouTuber for a career."
Yeah.
Because if you get it right, you can make so much money.
Yeah, my daughter watches kid unwrapping presents that they've been sent for free. This kid's earned millions for unwrapping presents he's been sent for free. And you're like,
They get to keep
amazing,
them. Well, I see that with the tech channels. Oh, thanks. Rode have just sent me the new whatever it is. And I'm like, they just sent that to you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've just paid whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And yes, but you do have to work hard and you have to get it right. Not everyone can do it, but you can understand why they want this whole influencer.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't see it like that. I just see it as I'm doing it as another thing to push the shop.
Well, it's a wider natter, isn't it?
Absolutely. It is exactly that.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, it's just a wider natter. You've
much
got
bigger...
your natter
Yeah,
going
the
on
knitted
in your
natter,
comments.
but I don't have to make tea or coffee.
No, exactly. You just sat there going, cheers.
I know.
Has everyone made a cup of tea?
Brilliant.
I'll expect that next time. Right, has everyone made a tea? I can't make it for you, but I've got mine.
Yeah, it is that. And actually, that says a lot, doesn't it? Because they are all there. They come back every month.
Yeah.
And some of them, I just feel like we are at a knit and natter.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get a bit, because I try to keep it like a show. It's like a produced show. And I have now the wonders of technology. I now have someone talking in my ear. So I've got, and she's in America.
Oh, wow.
She's followed the shop for a couple of years, and she says, "Oh, I want to help you do your show," because I used to edit it before. I said, "Well, why don't you try and produce for me?" And originally, when we first started, she would be typing in the YouTube chat, and I didn't realise, for the wonders of technology, is it Discord? Do you call it Discord?
Yeah.
I can now have her chatting live in my ear as I'm producing. So she now said, she tries to keep, I say, right, you've got to keep me on task.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can chat and go off.
Go off the tangent.
What is the time we've gone?
We don't look. We just. It's free parking. We've had the problem before when we were in Sudbury with someone.
Word, right, okay.
It's funny.
And I'll say, right, just so you've got to say to Stuart, you've got a minute left before guest of the year, for example. I'm like, okay. So she's really good, and now I know why they have it on TV because it helps to just keep you a little bit focused. But more often than not, I still go over. It's right, Stuart, you've gone over by 3 minutes. So I try and finish at 8 till 9, but sometimes I get to like 9:15. And I say, right, sorry everyone, we've gone 15 minutes over, and they're like, yeah, because you never finish at 9, Stuart. Anyway,
I was going to say,
I've even got Fizz is her name, my producer, and I've even got Fizz in my ear telling me to move on.
I was going to say, though, before you said about Fizz, I was just going to go, so you are producing and directing. You've even got, so from when we said at the start.
Oh, yes.
So you are producing.
So kind of
and
in a way, absolutely.
Yeah. So you said you talk about, you mentioned in the YouTube, obviously, what's in the shop, what's new in the shop and stuff, and new products and stuff. So how do people buy from you if they can't walk in the shop?
So they can do it online. So the usual thing, which is the woolpatch.com, with the W's at the front, and that's just like buying off any online site. Like you go to Amazon or you go wherever, and you just put in your details.
And you ship around the world.
We do. It is a little bit more complicated with that because of customs and things since Brexit, but we do. I don't know. I ship to America, and I've not had any issues yet. I have sent some things to Europe, but I think it's because they're normally small. I think if you have items like over, 150 quid or whatever, I think then tax then starts to go. But not many people spend that much money when they're buying wool. And then people can often buy from watching my YouTube. They'll just send me an email, say, "Oh, Stuart, I saw you show blah blah blah," and they'll send me an email, and then we'll go, "Oh yeah, here you go." Just PayPal me as well. So we try and we don't, it's sometimes informal. Just send that over. You know how convenient PayPal is as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Or obviously come in the shop. But if you're not local and you're not a knitter, then you can still support just by watching YouTube.
Yeah.
Because that ad money, just from because you've seen it, even if you've pressed skip, we still get something from that.
Nice.
So it all helps, and that's where it just works. You're not necessarily, and that's where I don't feel so bad that we're not trying to sell.
Yeah.
So on my show, I don't try and sell every month. Here's a new product. Here's this.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm getting some sort of income from the ad money too, or from the subscriptions. So there are many ways you can support the shop from that point of view.
And what's next?
It's a good question. So 2 years left, and then the lease is up.
Yeah.
And then I would have done that for 10 years.
Nice.
So I think then something has to change then. I don't think it will stay.
Don't scare everybody. Everyone will be sitting there going, "Don't go."
Oh, I know. I need to do more lavender and blue.
Yeah.
But the commercial stuff is a lot harder. I was saying at the beginning, you might buy this lovely yarn that you think is lovely, and then it literally doesn't sell, and it's heartbreaking because you've got money on that sat on the shelves, and I'm looking at some yarns there, and I'm thinking you've been on that shelf for nearly 8 months now, and that hasn't sold, and that's when you just think so. But the lavender and blue does move, So I think I would like a shop where ultimately I could try and dye in the shop, like a living, like these living museums that you often get, where you walk in and you see the history making. So I would like to be able, a shop that perhaps is a bit not smelly and rustic, but almost is where you go in and you see the dyeing happening. So you see the sinks, you see the wool hanging, you see me dyeing, and I've got my gloves on or whatnot. But also, over that side, I've still got the knit and natters. Because I know how important the social side is. And then you've got lavender and blue on all the walls. Whether you've got lavender and blue commercial wool, or whether you've got lavender and blue wool, that collection that I've sourced, or whether I wouldn't mind dyeing fabric. Like cotton or linen, and having lavender and blue in meterage. But where I could dye at the shop as well. Because I think...
With your sofas as well for the...
But just imagine that, having this like a blue shop, with just lavender and everything that's blue.
That'd be amazing.
Because I think that would just push. I think we were talking about price points, weren't we, and profit margins. Obviously, the profit margins are better from that point of view. So the shop could develop then, but you're also then developing histories, aren't you? The story, and people then visiting Lavenham. Then maybe you could then do experience days where people come to the wool patch. You could bring 5 friends. I'll teach you how to dye with indigo, with woad. At the end of the day, you go away with 5 hanks, and you've had lunch as well. Because we were talking about, it's more than just selling, isn't it? The experience is what you want. And then you get knitters galore. Especially if they've gone to Lavenham, they're on a holiday. Like a tour holiday. They go to Lavenham, they've spent 2 days in there, and they come to Melford for the day with me.
Book an experience.
It'll be like a knitting week.
It'd be perfect.
Knitting tour or something. So that's perhaps where I...
And I think that is, I know obviously artists that do go and learn to paint and do good art. There's another lady, she does terrariums, and you're creating your own terrariums, and that's on a wellbeing side as well. So there's so many popping up where you can
and it's
have
then
an experience.
Really niche then, isn't it? Whereas having all this commercial yarn is lovely, but commercial yarn is from Spain or it's from Italy, and then there's none of this idea of all the different colours. I just do blue. You just come here for lavender and blue, and the whole experience of that. But it's just finding the shop, because obviously you'd have to change the shop a bit. You need to be able to chuck water around or have big sinks. I'd like to stay in Melford for sure. I don't know whether I'd want to go to Lavenham. I don't know whether that's too close almost, you know. But if something came up in Lavenham, I might do it. But the footfall here is just so good. But I didn't know whether like trying to find a unit.
But like you say, the right place will come up.
I think so. Yes.
So will definitely come up. You'll all of a sudden see something and go, oh, yes,
it's just,
work.
And I am a believer of that because of the way. Obviously, I found this shop in the first place. The trouble is with as you know, with business, you've got 2 years left. You've at some point you've then got to say to if this place, I'm not staying here, or I am staying here, and then you're into another 5 years, aren't you? With it, I think you can get out after the third. So it's a case of, how close do you, go?
Sail to the wind.
Will it turn up? So I have started to look, because there have been some places pop up in Melford already, and I'm like, could that be?
Could it work?
It looks a bit too neat and a bit too tidy. But I think that's so that's been what I'm next. But I'm still staying here, for sure. I'm not going back to teaching.
Don't stress everyone off.
I love wool too much. And that whole Lavenham idea and finding the fleece and knitting, and making tea for the ladies and gents. I just love it. And those people, the people who I've met, the talent that I've met since. then.
I mean, what would Irene do otherwise?
I know. She gets to knit. I give her free wool and she gets to knit. She's in irrelevant. And then I get to wear it too.
Yeah, exactly. You get gifts.
Yeah. So I'm not going anywhere.
What a lovely life.
Not going anywhere.
You get gifts. Thanks so much.
You're very
for
welcome.
coming on. It's been
welcome.
lovely.
It's been great,
As we always say, like and subscribe, and please share with someone who loves knitting and
tell us your stories as well. If you know an Irene, tell us. That'd be nice to know, because I think everyone knows an Irene or a Colin, where they've been knitting for eons, and they don't even need to. They don't even need to look at their hands. They just knit watching telly.
No, they don't.
They don't even need to look at the pan.
My stepmom was like that. She'd just sit there for hours.
So we'd love to hear your stories.
And you find all the details, all of Stuart's contacts and details, your YouTube channel, everything will be in the show notes. Cool. So you'll be able to find all of his contact details. Send him your stories and your emotional support chickens.
He thoroughly enjoyed it. I've talked for far too long.
No, we love that. That's absolutely amazing. Thanks, Stuart.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to this episode. We really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please share with a friend who you think needs a bit of help with starting a business, or even their small business which they've already got going. Please like and subscribe to our podcast, which always helps a small business or small podcast like us. And check the show notes. We all have everything in there relating to the episode which you might need, might want to read, and links to anyone we've interviewed and certain subjects we've spoken about. And thanks for listening.